Alright, so I figured I'd do a follow-up on the preamp real quick. Did want to mention I am going to run a 9-volt power supply. The 12-volt runs out at full speed, and it's quite noisy and a little overkill for a preamp that really doesn't need a cooling fan. But in this case, you know, the way I ran it and everything else, obviously it does need to cool down some. Anyway, so let me get right to it. I've altered the case, and I've drilled the holes for the fan, and then I put it into the case, and then I scribed it with a pick, you know, a metal pick, and this way I went with a carbide grinding bit, a barrel bit. After I cut it out with, this is aluminum, so it's not a big deal, but I cut it out with a pair of metal shears, a left angle, I think they are. In either case, I got real close to where I scribed it, and then I took the grinder, the carbide grinder bit, and just went out to the scribe mark. So I've got a little filter ordered off of eBay that goes on top of this, and once that gets in, I'll do a follow-up with that, and we'll see how it comes out. The wiring isn't going to be a big deal because the back of the case has all those vent holes right up here, and is blowing in the clear area of the the lower case. So it's going to hit across the areas. You know, it'll blow down. I guess, you know, if you wanted to really get silly about it, you could go from the side and open up the other side. Problem is, it's double-walled steel. You know, the case comes up halfway and then here, so I would have to strip the entire case down, and I really don't think it needs that much cooling. Thus, the 9-volt power supply, that'll keep it running at a very decent speed. And hang on a minute here, I'll plug it in, and you'll see. Okay, there you go. This is running. I'm right on top of it. Can barely hear it. Barely. Have to be right on top of it. So the 9-volt power supply will suffice, and it's blowing into the case. It's not sucking out because it'll go out the back vents. So alright, I'm going to wait for my little filter to arrive next week sometime, and I'll put that on there and probably seal it off so it has a good seal and doesn't suck in dirt from the side. And then we'll put that together, and I'll replace this unit with the second one I bought. Let me get rid of this power supply thing. Okay, hard to do everything with one hand. Because this one did sound a little cleaner and crisper now with the new caps in it. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look-see into the new one, or the used new one I got, and see if it's got the same heat problems in there, and see if any of those caps might need replacing. I have plenty of caps, so I might want to replace the same ones that I replaced in this, just for good measure. Put it on the shelf and leave it as a spare. So yeah, that's the project going on with it, and looks like we're coming out pretty good. All right, we'll pick it up when I get my filter kit thingy. Okay, real quick. Took the back panel off, drilled 2 holes. One of them is for a on-off switch. I decided to put a switch on there instead of plugging and unplugging the thing. And then I drilled another hole for a grommet, and that'll be where the wires pass through. And there is a disconnect that I got at Radio Shack along with a switch. Damn shit's expensive at Radio Shack, $10 for these 2 things. Oh well. I'm going to leave the disconnect inside, but as you can see, the rubber grommet is there, and I'll be heat shrinking everything, so that way, you know, it'll not interfere with any sharp metal if it does come in contact with it. And I'll hot glue the fan wire to the top of the unit, and that'll be where the disconnect goes to. So, okay, carrying on. Okay, so we've got the switch wired in, soldered in. There's a quick connector, which will go over here, and I hope it doesn't cause any type of radio interference with a fan running. I don't think it should. In either case, that, and let's see here, we got the power supply. I might cut one of these little things out of here to give it a little bit more breathing room. Although, I don't know, I'm going to have to put it on there, fire it up and see. And then the fan is mounted with let me get a focus on it. The hot glue there, that'll just hold it up, and the wire ties together. There's the other connector. You need the little bit of extra, you know, so you can lift it up and disconnect the top if you need to service the unit. And this will keep it out of the way instead of hanging straight down from the fan. So, alright, we're going to put it together and give it a try. Still waiting on my little dust cover. Okay, right. Cover is back on. Everything's plugged in. Now remember, these three outlets back here on the unit are switched. So they don't come on until the unit itself is turned on. There's one unswitched, which is on all the time. Of course, we don't want to use that because there's no reason to have that on. And I will be running the other connections to a electrical strip by themselves. I'm not going to go into this unit again. So, alright, where's the button? And turn it on. And we hit the little red switch I put in. There it goes. The 9-volt seems to be a perfect speed. It's not extremely loud, no louder than any amplifier. You can hear the hollowness in it, but I think the filter, oh yeah, when the filter gets on it, it'll really quiet that down a lot. But I'm feeling airflow all the way across the back, and a damn good bit of it. So yeah, this switch back here works very well. There's no reason to run the fan when the thing's on low volume. You know, if I turn it on when the dog's at home and I leave for a little bit just to play the radio. But when I'm cranking down on it, I can go back here and I can just turn that on, and we won't have that overheating problem again. So yeah, that's a real good airflow. Very happy about that. Alright, still waiting for the filter. Till then, okay, finally got it in. Here's the filter, the bottom piece, and the cover, and it just snaps on once you hook that up to the fan, and there you go. It has a very low profile, so you know, it really doesn't stick up. It does cut down a little bit on airflow, not a whole lot though, but again, I'm running 9 volts, and so there it is. Now I'll be what do you call it, plugging the this unit in to the system and taking the other one out. I'm going to continue to run this one, and we'll see how it goes in the long term. In either case, I tried to make this as short as possible. I know attention spans really don't go very long, and a lot of people aren't interested in this shit, but for those of you who are, I hope you enjoyed it. You know, that was the end of the preamp debacle. So, okay, that'll do it. I'll try to get this uploaded today. I got done with all my other shit, and that's it. So, take care, people. Later.